Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are strapping in for a really high-stakes analysis of a college baseball matchup that is so much more than just 9 innings.
Oh,
We're
absolutely.
going to cut through all the noise, all the hype, and really analyze the titanic statistical and psychological conflict between Rice and Troy.
And this is just a textbook clash of philosophies. I mean, on one side, you've got Rice, built on statistical perfection, elite pitching, and just sheer explosive power.
A knockout blow.
Exactly. They're always looking for that one big swing.
And then on the other side, you have Troy, who rely on this overwhelming offensive depth, high-volume contact, and just a massive, massive wave of momentum. So our mission today is to give you the ultimate shortcut, the cheat sheet, really to understanding the precise factors at play here.
And if you want to get what makes this game so fascinating, you have to know the central tension right away. Rice's bullpen,
Yes.
they have a 0.000 ERA in the postseason.
0.000.
Yeah.
Zero.
They have been literally perfect. So the question is, can Troy's superior offense, more hits, more runs, more traffic on the bases, can they actually find a way to overcome that?
That is the core conflict.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this, started with the cold, hard numbers.
Yeah.
Let's talk offense. Because if you just look at the sort of high-level comparison, Troy looks like they have a pretty big edge.
That's the first thing you see, and it's true. Their offense is just relentless. They've got a higher team batting average, .420 compared to Rice's .390.
Which is already impressive.
It is. And on top of that, they're averaging 8.4 runs per game versus 7.8 for Rice, and they're getting 2 more hits a game, almost 14 hits a game.
Wow.
They just thrive on overwhelming you with constant traffic.
But, and this is a huge but, there's a massive asterisk attached to those numbers, and it's Rice's entire strategic approach, right? They win in home runs per game, 2.0 to 1.8.
Yeah, and that highlights their slugging efficiency. I mean, what does that really mean strategically?
Well, that's the thing. They don't need to string hits together.
Right. Troy is looking to, force a 6-pitch at bat, get a guy on first, maybe steal second, move him over. Rice is built to change the score with one swing.
One swing.
They need fewer hits to score the same number of runs. You look at those bats, Wilkerson, Lancaster. That's a philosophy where they just bypass the whole process.
And while we don't have the exact, isometric in front of us, that home run volume tells you everything. It's about high-quality contact. It's about exit velocity, even if it means you sacrifice a few singles here and there.
It's a boom or bust approach, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the risk for Rice, right? If they run into a pitcher who keeps the ball on the ground, those home runs disappear, and suddenly Troy's volume approach is it's dominant.
But when they connect.
It's instantaneous, which brings us to the mound game.
And this is where Rice just makes their statement. The pitching stats are, they're genuinely impressive.
They're non-negotiable. Rice's overall team ERA is better, 3.12 versus Troy's 3.45. They're getting more strikeouts, 4 per game compared to Troy's 3. But you cannot talk about this matchup without dwelling on that bullpen figure.
The .00 ERA, it honestly feels like a typo when you see it in the source material. Not a single earned run from the relief corps in the whole postseason.
I mean, that's just historically dominant.
It is.
And what's so fascinating is what that number does to the other team's planning. Troy knows they can't win with a traditional 9th-inning rally. It's just not going to happen against that kind of perfection.
So they have to get to the starter.
They have to either jump ahead really early or they have to break that starter before Rice can even think about bringing in the closer.
And, Troy's bullpen is still really good. 1.12 ERA is stellar at this stage.
Oh, for sure.
But that gap between 1.12 and .00 in a do-or-die game, it feels monumental. It just fundamentally changes how both coaches are going to manage those late innings.
Exactly. For Rice's coach, it's a massive confidence boost. It lets your starter have a shorter leash because you know the game gets locked down the second the bullpen door opens.
Right. And speaking of locking things down, let's touch on defense. Clean baseballs.
Uh-huh.
Because one error can decide everything when runs are this tight.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, both teams are solid, but Rice, again, has that slight edge. They average about half an error per game versus Troy's 0.7.
Doesn't sound like much.
It doesn't, but in a game that the source predicts will be like 7-6,
Yeah.
one bobble, one extra runner, that could be the entire game, especially against an offense like Troy's that thrives on having men on base.
That makes perfect sense.
Oh.
Okay, let's shift from the team stats to the individuals. The sources suggest that while Troy has that deep 9-man threat, Rice Rice has the most explosive, heart-of-the-order trio in the entire bracket.
And this is where Rice can just flip a game on its head. That trio it's terrifying for any pitcher. You start with B. Wilkerson at first base, hitting an absurd .615.
.615, with 2 huge home runs.
That kind of average at this stage, it's unheard of.
Then you've got S. Lancaster, the DH. He is putting up, tournament MVP numbers. A .482 average, 4 homers, 10 LEI.
Yeah.
He's the engine.
He is the engine behind that whole slugging efficiency thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
And the third piece of that puzzle is B. Waite in center field, hitting .588. He's the on-base machine. He's the guy who's almost guaranteed to be on base when those big power bats come up.
Plus lethal speed.
Lethal speed creates havoc.
But Troy, like we said, isn't relying on 1 or 2 guys. They have threats everywhere. You can't pitch around anyone.
Yeah.
So tell us about their key hitters.
Well, leading the charge is G. Falkenbach, who's hitting .593 and leads the team in RBI. Then you have R. O'Brien at the top of the order, setting the table, hitting .489.
And Jabzanski, right? He's been a breakout star for them.
A legitimate breakout star. Hitting .500 with 2 home runs and 8 RBI. There's just no cold spot in that lineup. You can't take a pitch off.
Which naturally leads us to these key individual matchups the source material highlighted. Let's start with the big one, the battle of the cleanup hitters. Wilkerson for Rice versus O'Brien for Troy.
And the verdict here is it's a wash. It's even.
Really?
Yeah, the source sees both of them as just elite, high-average, difference-making players. You can't really find an edge either way. Whoever has the bigger night probably wins the game for their team.
Okay, what about the power factor in the middle infield? You've got shortstop Jay Monroe for Rice against M. DePaula for Troy.
Here, the analysis gives a slight edge to Troy, and it's not just about average. DePaula's hitting .455, sure, but he has 5 doubles.
The extra base hits.
The volume of extra base hits. It shows his swing is just powerful and dangerous. Monroe is solid, he's clutch, great defensively. But DePaula's ability to turn a single into a double is a game changer.
And maybe the most critical matchup of all, the starting pitchers. T. Dirk for Rice, Q. Orman for Troy.
Yeah, and this is a fascinating contrast. Dirk has been on a really short leash for Rice, while Orman just came off a dominant 6-inning 0-run performance.
Why the short leash for Dirk? Is it a health thing or is it strategic?
Based on the notes, it's all strategy. Rice doesn't need 7 or 8 innings from him. They just need 4 strong, efficient innings to bridge the gap to that perfect bullpen.
Right.
So if Dirk struggles with command early, Coach McAndrews will not hesitate to pull him. Orman, on the other hand, looks like a true ace right now. He looks like he can neutralize that Rice lineup for longer, which buys crucial time for his own offense.
So the verdict leans toward Troy for the starters, which means that Rice's bullpen might have to come in earlier than they want, maybe the 5th inning.
Precisely. And that is the leverage point of the entire game right there.
Before we get to the final prediction, we have to talk about the sheer swagger here, the personality, because the intangibles, the mental warfare, this is fantastic for the listener.
Oh, it's amazing. This is where momentum takes center stage, but in 2 completely different forms. Rice's momentum is, it's controlled, it's statistical.
Yeah, clinical.
Clinical. They've fought through elimination games, they've proven their clutch, and they know their bullpen is a strategic cheat code. They're confident.
But Troy's momentum is just pure high-octane adrenaline. They just dropped 10 runs in extras to beat Florida. They are battle-tested, they're resilient, and they genuinely believe they are unstoppable right now.
It's an aggressive belief, and that confidence, it translates directly into the, quote, war, which gives you so much insight. The sources call Rice's mentality the launch codes.
The launch codes, I love that.
It's not just about hitting home runs, it's about maximizing contact quality, exit velo, viewing every quality swing as a potential launch.
And their coach, McAndrews, he's leaning into it. He's already downplaying Troy's power, saying their lineup will look like they brought pool noodles to a sword fight against his pitchers.
And then Lancaster, the DH, he backs it up. He says he's not swinging for hits, he's swinging for structural damage.
Oh, come on.
And they're closer. T. Hubbard, the guy with the .000 ERA, says he looks forward to breaking hearts in the 9th. They're just cold-blooded.
But Troy is bringing the heat right back. The source calls it the swagger and trauma.
That's right. Their coach, Simmons, is promising exit velocity and extra base trauma right back at them.
And they are taking direct shots at the Rice Stars. Troy's O'Brien, who's matching up against Wilkerson, fired off this unbelievably cocky line. He said, once he goes yard, they'll be tied in home runs, and I'll still be prettier.
That is just premium grade bravado, just trying to get under their skin.
But the line that really sums it all up, for me, came from Troy's DH, A. Garza. He directly challenges that .000 ERA. He says, if Rice's bullpen ERA is 0.000, they haven't faced me yet. Tell Hubbard to enjoy that number while it lasts.
That's it. That is the entire matchup in a nutshell. Statistical certainty against overwhelming aggressive confidence. The neutral take summarized it perfectly. It's the baseball Thunderdome. Rice brings the rocket launchers, Troy brings the riot gear.
So let's synthesize all this. The data, the personality. Let's get to the win conditions. If you're Rice, what is your path to victory?
It's simple, really. They have to take an early lead. That means those power bats, Wilkerson, Lancaster, Waite, they have to go deep 2 or more times. If Rice can take a lead into the 7th inning, they hand the ball to that bullpen, and the game it's probably over. The probability just skyrockets.
And for Troy,
Yeah.
the team built on volume and depth. How do they crack the code? How did they beat the perfect bullpen?
Troy wins if they can execute their game plan. They have to string together 13-plus hits. They have to put pressure on the bases constantly, force Rice's defense to make plays under pressure, and their own bullpen. It has to hold up against Rice's core sluggers.
Yeah, they can't get into a home run derby.
No. If they try to match Rice home run for home run, they will lose. They have to win with volume.
So the rubber meets the road. After all this analysis, the power, the depth, that .000 ERA, the swagger, where are the sources leaning, it feels like a total coin flip.
It does. It's power versus depth, shutdown arms versus momentum bats. But despite the overwhelming statistical advantage Rice has on the mound, the analysis predicts that Troy's infectious confidence and that unrelenting volume will eventually break through.
So what's the specific prediction?
Based on the source's synthesis of their late-game scoring, their extra-base swagger, and their bullpen grit, the specific prediction is that Troy wins a thriller, 7-6.
7-6. That means 7 runs against a staff with a perfect bullpen. That suggests the 0.000 ERA finally cracks.
It has to, and it likely cracks because of that sheer volume of contact, the constant traffic that Troy generates late in the game, maybe after a few of those extra base hits from DePaula.
It speaks to the idea that, unrelenting confidence and depth can eventually chip away at even statistical perfection.
It's the triumph of the human element, of sheer momentum being applied directly to the data.
It also confirms Orman must have a great outing to keep it close long enough for that to happen. So this deep dive has given you, I hope, an incredible understanding of the strategic contrast here. We've seen the nearly flawless pitching of Rice go head-to-head with Troy's high-volume, high-swagger offense.
And that leaves us with one provocative thought for you to consider moving forward, especially when you're analyzing any elite tournament matchup like this. In this kind of high-stakes pressure cooker, what breaks first?
Yeah.
Is it the statistical certainty, that 0.000 ERA of a perfect bullpen, or is it the overwhelming momentum and psychological confidence of a team that simply refuses to lose?
That's the knowledge you can take forward.
It is.
That is the ultimate question for the Baseball Thunderdome. We'll see you on the next Deep Dive.